4 tips on showing, not telling, when writing romance. The number 1 tip I hear as an author is to show, not tell. I believe this is especially important when writing romance because this genre is intended to pull on your heartstrings. So the more you can elaborate on the descriptions and actions in a romance, the more effective you will be at pulling your readers in and holding their attention. Let me share 4 tips on how to show, not tell, when writing romance. Use similes and metaphors when appropriate. For example, instead of saying a character is loud and talkative, you can describe his speech as a pounding waterfall. Using comparable examples allows your readers to better visualize your descriptions. Give important scenes the play-by-play detail they deserve. For example, instead of saying 2 characters held hands for the first time, focus on describing the process of how it happened. Did they steal glances at each other? Who made the first move? How did the moment their fingers touched affect their bodies? These are important questions that readers will have, and it's our job to answer them. Put yourself in your character's shoes and write a scene using his or her senses. When you convey what the character sees, hears, touches, tastes, or smells, you bring the moment to life for the reader. By the way, I have a video about writing with your senses that I'll link here for you. Use dialogue to your advantage. For example, you can have your character talk to someone about the horrible mistake she made and how scared she is about it. Or have your character describe to a friend the concert he went to and why he enjoyed it so much. Including dialogue in a scene is a good way to add variety, humor, and personality to a story. Now that I've shared these 4 tips with you, let me give you an example of what not to do. This is an edited excerpt from my audiobook, How to Kiss a Guy in 10 Days, that focuses on telling. I had to admit, there was something cute about Seth. That's the first thing I thought of when he showed up at the mall. He was wearing a blue shirt. Now that I'd known him for a couple of days, I'd started to notice little things about him, like how good he smelled. A man cleared his throat. I looked up at the guy running the kiosk. He glared down his nose at me. "It's our turn, Hannah." Seth smiled and squeezed my hand, starting another round of tingles. My head spun with a crazy realization. It couldn't be, could it? I think I was starting to have feelings for Seth. Now let me share the same excerpt, but this time using showing instead of telling. I had to admit there was something cute about Seth. That's the first thing I thought of when he showed up at the mall. He was wearing a shirt that matched his blue eyes. Now that I'd known him for a couple of days, I'd started to notice little things about him. The way one corner of his mouth quirked up when he was thinking, or that he had a tendency to slouch whenever he was sitting, but his back would straighten as soon as he stood up. It was like his confidence came from his feet touching the floor. And how good he smelled, like fresh laundry straight from the dryer. I took a deep breath, enjoying the scent, when the man cleared his throat. I looked up to see the guy running the kiosk drumming his fingers on the countertop. The paper hat on top of his balding head shifted as he glared down his nose at me. "It's our turn, Hannah." Seth gave me another one of his sweet smiles and squeezed my hand, starting another round of tingles along my fingers. The sensation traveled up my arm and spread a burst of warmth through my chest. I could hardly breathe for a second, as my head spun with a crazy realization. It couldn't be, could it? I think I was starting to have feelings for Seth. What do you think? Did you notice how much more descriptive and interesting the second excerpt was compared to the first? That's why we as romance authors need to make it a priority to show, not tell. If you'd like to hear more of the story that this scene is from, be sure to listen to my audiobook, How to Kiss a Guy in 10 Days. I'll put a link to it here for you. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe to be notified when I upload more videos like this one.